And this is Ken Kraetzer for CBSIServices, a best in bank marketing benefits, and have a chance to talk with a friend, Ryan Craver, who is a retail digital consultant and really an expert in retail shopping and digital impact on the industry. And Ryan just kind of completed the majority of the 2014 holiday sales season. What were your impressions so far?
I think it's actually been quite positive thus far. We've seen positive year-over-year growth across the industry, both in November and December. So we do know that they are shopping. I think there were some worries that Black Friday sales started too early in November and they ended too late post-Cyber Monday. But everyone had sales that were up year over year, and December's looking incredibly strong, not only traffic-wise relative to previous years, but also sales-wise. So it's been quite positive.
That's great. And, of course, we've had some upturns in the economy, the Dow just reaching 18,000, and then the sharp drop in gas prices. What did you see the impact of those two factors on the holiday sales season this year?
Great question. I think if you decouple the two, there's been an impact for different retailers. If you look at the Dow and the overall health of the S&P and the stock market, you probably see higher than expected spending within the higher tier markets, the mid to the high tiers, the Neiman's, the Nordstroms, the Saks Fifth Avenues of the world. And then if you start to look at gasoline, gasoline expenditures for those that it's a large proportion of their overall spend month over month has been the lowest it's been in 11 years. So I think for those, you're probably seeing a bigger impact on low to middle tier. So it's a very healthy environment from my point of view.
Okay, and you were a speaker in November at the Customer Engagement World Conference here in New York City, and talked a lot about the impact of digital marketing and social media on the season and on retailing so far. You talked about the kind of the birth of social commerce. Tell us a little more about that.
Got it. I think historically what you've seen from retailers in the way in which they've used social media is they've typically only shared their links, and the transaction has happened off the site or outside of the app. You're now starting to see those like Wanelo, Twitter, Facebook. They're enabling commerce directly on their site or in-app. And that is where it starts to get a bit more exciting because we're going to start to see conversion a lot higher. And so what I like to say is social media has never been social commerce, but I think 2015 we're going to actually see some hockey stick growth and an actual catalyst for it.
Okay, and really a lot of growth this year. You talked about one of the mechanisms, one of the new technologies for attracting customers into stores, and that being beacons. And that's something that's a little new for a lot of people in marketing. Tell us a little bit about what beacons bring to retail marketing.
Perfect. So beacons are, just to take a step back and explain what they are, they're these small devices that essentially a retailer can post onto a fixture, onto a wall. And what they do is they blast out a message via Bluetooth Low Energy. As long as there is a phone or some sort of device that can take that signal, you can show some type of marketing campaign. Hudson's Bay, Lord & Taylor, we utilized beacons quite extensively. We rolled them out to all of our stores. And what we made sure we did is figured out how you distribute that message. So some of the retailers are doing it through their own apps, but when you look at a Hudson's Bay or a Lord & Taylor, what we've done is we've partnered with other third-party apps to broadcast that message. So as long as your iPhone or your Galaxy phone that you've got has the Bluetooth turned on and you've been willing to share your location, when you walk in close proximity of that beacon, you will receive a marketing message. And the reason why I think it's so exciting is because retailers historically haven't been able to do anything except for a push notification based on your location. Now what I could do, or we could do, is show you actual products that we're interested in, show you a dynamic promotion that could change based on your location or your previous shopping history. And so it truly allows personalized marketing that has even more context than it did before. You're not just focused on a blast email, but you're focused on something that's relevant to you and a higher likelihood of having some sort of conversion.
Okay, and another kind of new technology that's been developing is making your mobile phone into a transaction vehicle, and Apple Pay has been one of the services that has come out and starting to be utilized in the marketplace. What do you see as trends in the payment mechanisms that retailers that will help retailers attract customers?
Got it. What I think is interesting, and this brings back the holiday question. If you look at what was released by IBM thus far, 57% of the holiday e-commerce volume, actual traffic was via mobile. But only 35% of the dollars were actual shopped. So what that says to me is we are making inroads on making mobile transactional, and it's going to get even better, where we see it's going to take a larger share of the overall purchase volume as things like Apple Pay come to place. Why does Apple Pay and Google Wallet make so much sense? It makes it simple and easy to actually transact with the retailer. Think about being in-app and not having to give your billing address, your shipping address, and your payment information, but simply just pressing down with your fingerprint, or Google Wallet pulling up that profile and having all of that stuff auto-populated. That's going to make people more easily transact and close an actual sale. And so I think as things like that start to come into place, we're going to start to see mobile edge up, edge up, edge up. That 35% last year, that was below 20%. So I think the mobile world's moving a lot faster than we anticipate, and it's going to move even faster with things like Apple Pay.
One of the comments you made that I really noted was how much people are using apps on their phones rather than going to websites. And you actually had a statistic that 86% of people's usage of their mobile phones is off of apps rather than websites. Why has that happened? Obviously, the apps are very convenient to use on a mobile phone.
Yeah. I think what you're seeing is one point, I think 3 million based on some data from Flurry. That's how many apps are available. You're also seeing that it skews towards gaming, entertainment, and messaging. And those are the top 3 categories. The amount of time that they're spending, like you said, is 86% in-app, 14% mobile web. When you start to look at that, you start to beg the question, how do retailers play a role in that? And for the most part, you can either have your own apps or you can be part of the apps ecosystem that they're actually spending their time in. It's very, very difficult to take your app and have it be a top 5 shopping app that someone has. They're only downloading 8 apps on average per month. They're not going to utilize 15 different shopping apps. So you have to play a role in the bolder ones. Some of the bigger shopping apps are where you need to be at.
And you have experience at some major retailers, retailers, Hudson Bay, and how do some of the smaller retailers, the smaller, maybe perhaps even individual stores, keep up with all the new technology and trends? What would be some of the recommendations you might have for smaller businesses to utilize new technology?
You got to go where the iShare is, right? So you need to follow where everyone is using these bigger apps. There's a couple different apps that I would suggest that they should evaluate, because there are ecosystems out there that they can attach themselves to the masses, but also provide some sort of context. Apps like Ibotta, IBOTTA. That's a huge app. It's now in the top 25 for shopping that works across multiple retailers and manufacturers and brands. I mean, you can attach yourself very easily to something like that. Also look at things like beacons. Beacons are incredibly simple to install, and there's a beacon ecosystem in which you can attach yourself to as well. It's as simple as peel and stick on the install, and you can start driving traffic very quickly. And lastly, as the internet has evolved more and more and more, and mobile's evolved more, and Facebook and Google and all the rest of those have evolved playing a role in those, whether it's through retargeted ads or buying keywords or potentially even listing some of your product on Amazon just for general awareness of your brand, could make a lot of sense for you. So the tools are there for you if you really want to start to drive some traffic to your store or to your site.
Actually, we've been working with some local retailers on just doing short YouTube videos of 5 minutes about their store, their product line, their services, and how to get in touch with them so that they'll have a presence on YouTube, which then can transfer onto LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook very easily.
I think, as you look at the number of sites that have proliferated, there is so much choice for consumers to find a voice of a brand. I think if you start to pinpoint those exact ones, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Google, Amazon, each one of those, you should have some sort of at least landing page. Just having your own website today is not going to make you, stand out. It's just like the apps. Having your own app, it's very difficult to gain a bunch of traction.
And Ryan Craver, as we said, we've got an improving economy. If we look at the Dow and the gas price drop, certainly is going to be helping going into 2015. Lots of new technology available for retailers and card issuers and all the other players within retail marketing and digital. What are some of the key trends that you see going into 2015 that some of the major companies are going to be trying to utilize to improve their business?
Yeah, I think as you look at what everyone's calling the sharing and the instant gratification drive, the more disruptive things that are happening in the world. I hate using the word disruption, but that's more disruptive than others. You're going to see automatically customers expecting same-day shipping or next-day shipping, but not paying for it. Because the Amazons of the world have built, 65 plus DCs in the U.S. alone, they automatically have the proximity to give something to you immediately. And that instant gratification will become an expectation very quickly if it's not already here. Things like Uber are driving that as well. I also think you're going to see the further drive to mobile. Screens are bigger. Social logins are shareable across various sites. Apple Pay is here. Google Wallet is here. So, I know it sounds boring to just say mobile, 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 but it's going to move faster than we actually expected and probably be in the 35 to 40% range of overall e-commerce very, very quickly. I think the holidays brought that as an indication.
And Ryan Craver, just tell us a little bit about your career as a retail digital consultant. You've been with some big companies, and you're a proud graduate of Arizona State University.
There we go. Very nice. So I initially started with Accenture Consulting. I did various industry management consulting, flipped into retail, found out that was where the love was, and I really hopped on the bandwagon of this whole digital movement. So I spent some time at Hudson's Bay Lord & Taylor, helping evolve their digital strategy and figuring out what their 5-year growth plan is. How do they attach themselves to things like beacons and Bitcoin? And now I've kind of moved off on my own. I'm trying a little startup stuff, and I'm also helping advise brands on how they become relevant in a digital world and speak directly to the consumer as opposed to becoming reliant on the retailer to speak about their brand.
And Ryan, just tell us a little bit about how someone can reach you. I know you read some of your material. I know you have a lot of material out on Twitter.
Yeah, big Twitter fan, at Ryan M. Craver. I've also been running a newsletter for about 1.5 years now. You can sign up via Twitter. Otherwise, it's just Ryan M. Craver at gmail.com, Ryan M. Craver.
And Ryan, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us at CBSI about your thoughts on this past holiday season and trends going into 2015, and our best wishes to you for the new year.
Awesome. Thank you, and I'm glad we get to speak about all these cool things. It's fun.
Thank you so much. This is Ken Kraetzer for CBSIServices, based in Harrison, New York, the best in credit card marketing benefits.